there are lots of problems this morning for Japan's automakers. First, we had the problems with Toyota. Now it's Corolla may have some steering faults. And Honda's airbags may contain metal shards, believe it or not. Mike Firn has been following these developments. And Mike, Honda's holding a briefing in Tokyo on its airbag problems. What are they saying about these metal shards in its airbags?
Well, they're saying that they're going to recall nearly 438,000 vehicles worldwide to repair airbags. They can overinflate and push through little pieces of metal. One death has been reported in the States, according to Honda. It's checking more than 4,000 vehicles in Japan. That's 2 types of passenger car and a minivan. Also, it added 379,000 vehicles to a US recall. As I said, 1 death reported there.
They are taking this opportunity to show that, they were always being painted as those bad cars, these American cars, and now they show that these Japanese cars are also vulnerable in a way. Of course, most of these things, when you look back at history, they blow over at some point. So, yeah frankly, I'm looking at Honda now. I wait for things to stabilize, and probably then we'll make a move.
And problems continue for Toyota, the US investigating steering issues with the best-selling Corolla. One man describing it as like driving on black ice. The government is looking into more than 80 complaints on Corollas made in 2009, 2010. Toyota says it's received no official communication from US authorities about steering problems. This news comes just after Toyota said that it was recalling 437,000 hybrids worldwide to fix the brakes, and an 8 million vehicle recall to stop accelerator pedal sticking.
So far, Toyota had this, bulletproof image. This company can do no wrong. That image would now take a severe beating. Now, that aura around Toyota is not really there. They would be treated as any other company, and now onwards, it would be hard for them to differentiate themselves.
Shares rising for a second day, up by a third of 1% at the lunch break. Honda down by just under a fifth of 1%. Nissan surging 3.4%. It changed its full-year forecast of a loss to a profit, $391 million in the year that ends March 31st. No safety recalls as well for Japan's third biggest car maker. It does say, though, it still wants to reassure drivers.
For car makers who have customers' lives in their hands, safety is the most important issue. We now reinforce the point that we have to focus more on safety to keep the customers' trust.
Well, they haven't got the investors' trust just yet. Nissan shares down 7% this year. Toyota down 13%. Honda, the star performer, up by 7% year to date. Susan, back to you.
What a scary result. Metal shards possibly being blown through airbags. Okay, so, Japanese car makers once synonymous really with quality, but a lot of problems right now. Let's bring in our columnist, Willie Pesek, who recently wrote on Toyota's issues. And the column's called Naked Driving Gives New Meaning to Toyota's Crisis. Willie Pesek joins us from Sydney. And Willie, what a change of events here, with Honda now joining in to this recall with a pretty scary problem of its own with these airbags at this point, possibly pushing through metal shards when exploded. So, how do you think they're dealing with the situation so far, these Japanese car makers?
Yeah, I'm almost afraid to open a newspaper, never mind being afraid to drive in Japan at the moment. For Toyota, this is a, sort of once-in-a-lifetime crisis, if you will. Toyota's never faced something like this before. If you look at Japan in general, this has been a very bad start to the year. JAL bankruptcy, deflation, problems at Toyota, problems at Honda. I think at Toyota, you have seen a very, very slow pace of response, and that's the real problem here. Design flaws happen. The key is to fix them quickly. And the problem here is Toyota has dragged its feet. It's looked somewhat unresponsive, somewhat non-transparent. Its management has looked as if it just doesn't get it. And so customers are responding badly. Yeah,
some would say this is a textbook case of how not to handle a PR relations disaster. Here we go. But what about Akio Toyoda, who now says he's finally going to go to D.C. and testify? Do you think he needs to resign?
Well, I think he should resign. I mean, in Japan, you do have this very, very, well-founded process of people resigning and take responsibility when they screw up. And the issue is less about the design flaws. I mean, he's only been president of Toyota for less than a year. It's more about how he's handled this. He's handled it so terribly. I think Toyota will have a very, very difficult time coming back from this. They will over time, sure, but I do think that they've in some ways shot themselves in the foot in a way that wasn't necessary, and he should take responsibility.
Interesting insights, Willie. Thanks for that, Willie Pesek, our columnist in Sydney.